Let me ask you something straight up. When someone points out something you did wrong, or at least something they think you did wrong, what's the first thing that rises in you? Do you calmly listen? Or do you feel that sudden heat in your chest, that urge to explain, to argue, to build a courtroom case in your head proving why you're not guilty? If you felt that, welcome. You're human. But here's the tough truth. Defensiveness is one of the fastest ways to destroy trust, intimacy, and respect in relationships. The Stoics knew this over 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change. It's the truth I'm after." That's the opposite of defensiveness. That's courage. That's humility. But most of us, we're terrified of being wrong. We equate criticism with attack. And so, instead of hearing, we shield. Instead of growing, we fight. Today, I want to show you 7 Stoic strategies to stop being so defensive. Not because defensiveness makes you weak, but because it keeps you small. Stoicism isn't about never being criticized. It's about learning how to stand so firm in yourself that no criticism can shake you. So, let's break this down. Strategy 1. Pause before you react. The Stoic gap. Epictetus taught something simple but life-changing. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When someone criticizes you, notice what happens in your body. Your pulse quickens, your jaw tightens, your mind floods with comebacks. That's your survival system kicking in. But here's where Stoicism gives you power. The gap. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. Most people miss it. They react instantly. But the Stoic practices seeing the gap. Practical exercise. Next time someone points something out, instead of firing back, literally pause. Count to 3 in your mind. Breathe once, slowly. Then, only then, choose how you respond. That pause might be the difference between escalation and growth. Think of it this way. Defensiveness is fast. Wisdom is slow. The Stoic man doesn't rush to prove himself. He slows down to master himself. Strategy 2. Detach ego from identity. Why do we get defensive? Because we attach our worth to being right. If I'm wrong, I'm worthless. If I'm criticized, I'm weak. But the Stoics flipped this. They separated the self from the ego. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you'll find strength. When someone criticizes your actions, they're not attacking your soul. They're pointing at a behavior, a choice, a mistake. Here's the trick. Learn say, "That's feedback on what I did, not who I am." The Stoic man doesn't confuse his eternal worth with temporary errors. So when a partner says, "You never listen to me," instead of defending with, "That's not true, I always listen," you can step back and say, "Interesting. Can you tell me when you felt unheard?" That's not weakness. That's strength. Because only the secure man can separate his being from his behavior. Strategy 3. Welcome criticism as a teacher. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Criticism is friction. It's uncomfortable. It rubs the wrong way. But it's also what sharpens you. Defensiveness shuts the door on learning. Stoicism opens it wide. Practical Stoic shift. The next time someone criticizes you, instead of saying, "but," replace it with "thank you." Sounds crazy, right? But that one phrase flips your posture from battle mode to growth mode. Imagine this. Someone says, "You're always late." Defensive response. "Well, traffic was bad, and besides, you're late sometimes too." Stoic response. "Thank you for pointing that out. I'll work on it." One shuts the conversation down. The other opens it up. To the Stoic, feedback is not humiliation. It's free training. Strategy 4. Examine the source before reacting. Not all criticism is equal. Some comes from love. Some comes from ignorance. Some comes from people projecting their own insecurities. Here's where Stoicism teaches discernment. Epictetus said, "If anyone tells you that such a person speaks ill of you, don't defend yourself against what was said, but reply, 'He does not know my other faults, else he would not have mentioned only these.'" That's next level detachment. So, Ask yourself, who is this criticism coming from? If it's from someone you respect, someone invested in your growth, lean in. If it's from a random stranger online, someone bitter, someone envious, smile, let it pass. Defensiveness treats every word like an attack. Stoicism filters the signal from the noise. Strategy 5. Shift from war mode to curiosity. Here's a beautiful Stoic reframe. You don't have to treat every critique as war. Sharon Ellison once said, defensiveness is reacting with a war mentality to a non-war issue. That's exactly what the Stoics would call misjudgment. Instead of gearing up like a soldier, gear up like a philosopher. Ask questions. Can you help me understand what you mean? When did you feel that way? What would your preferred I did? Curiosity disarms tension. It also keeps you in control. Remember, the defensive man says, you're wrong about me. The Stoic man says, help me see what you see. Strategy 6. Build inner security through discipline. Defensiveness often comes from insecurity. The more fragile your self-worth, the more you feel the need to guard it. The Stoics built their worth on discipline, not approval. Daily practices, morning journaling like Marcus Aurelius did in Meditations. Remind yourself who you want to be. Voluntary discomfort like Seneca suggested. Practice simplicity, so you're less shaken when pride is attacked. Self-discipline in small things, because a man who can master his impulses can master his ego. The less you need to prove yourself, the less defensive you'll be. True confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to argue. Strategy 7. Reframe criticism as opportunity for virtue. For the Stoics, life is training ground. Every challenge is a chance to practice virtue. So what is criticism really? A chance to practice humility, a chance to practice patience, a chance to practice wisdom. Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes a way. Criticism isn't in the way. It is the way. Defensiveness sees insult. Stoicism sees opportunity. So next time someone calls you out, instead of defending, ask, how can I practice courage here? How can I practice patience here? How can I practice humility here? That's how you stop being defensive. Not by never being criticized, but by transforming criticism into fuel. Defensiveness is human, but Stoicism calls us to something higher. Remember the 7 Stoic strategies. Pause before reacting. Detach ego from identity. Welcome criticism as a teacher. Examine the source before reacting. Shift from war mode to curiosity. Build inner security through discipline. Reframe criticism as virtue training. Each time you practice these, you break the chain of automatic reactions. You become less a slave to ego and more a master of yourself. The Stoic doesn't fear criticism. He transforms it. The Stoic doesn't cling to being right. He clings to being wise. So the next time you feel that urge to defend, remember Marcus Aurelius' words. If anyone can prove me wrong, I'll gladly change. For it is the truth I seek, and the truth never harmed anyone. That is the opposite of defensiveness. That is freedom. And if you want more freedom, more discipline, and more calm in your relationships in your life, stay here. Because every day, we bring Stoicism down from the mountaintop and into your daily struggles. So take this with you. Next time someone challenges you, don't react to protect your ego. Respond to protect your wisdom. And hey, if this hit you, subscribe to Everyday Stoicism. Because the truth is, defensiveness builds walls. But Stoicism builds man.